Okay, so this episode didn't quite live up to my expectations. It did not reveal nearly as much as I was hoping it would. What little it did reveal was not as significant or important as I hoped. The Pokemon that made their debut were not caught, and most of them did not get to do much. So overall, I would say that this episode disappointed me. It's not all bad news for it though. It set up some very exciting things for the future. At least one of the debuting Pokemon got to make a good impression, and Raifort's first appearance in this series was quite good. She definitely got to play a pretty decent role. So let's dive deeper into this episode to see what went well and what went wrong. But before we do, what exactly happened in this episode? Let's recap. In this episode, Liko and friends have lunch with Fried and company to celebrate that they passed their basics test. Liko mentions that she's glad to see them all after so long. Orla reassures her, saying that hopefully the airship will be repaired soon, allowing them all to travel together again. Fried soon reveals that he set up a meeting with Jita and Clabel, which he attends with Liko and company. Fried is hoping to learn more about Terapagos. Jita and Clabel are soon amazed when they see that Liko has a real living Terapagos, a Pokemon they've only heard of and seen in drawings. After hearing the story of how Liko got Terapagos and what she hopes to do for it, Jita shares everything she knows about it. She says that it has two forms, a normal one and one it assumes when battling. It's clearly closely related to Terastol, and one was supposedly spotted in Area 0, which lies within the Great Crater of Paldea. Said sighting was recorded in the Scarlet Book, which Dot reveals she has. Jita uses it to show them the drawing seen in the previous episode, which she reveals is a third form Terapagos has. Since Area 0 likely has some clues, Liko and friends want to go there. Clavel, however, says that they can't since an accident happened recently, so access is restricted, though Jita promises to take them there someday once it's possible. Hoping that they will be able to learn more regarding Rakua and Lucius, which are things from 100 years ago, Jita and Clabel direct Liko and company to Raifort, the history teacher who, oh my god, has a Terapagos, no way! Just kidding, it's just her Zoroark in disguise. Raifort is willing to share whatever information she may have, though first she has Liko and company head out with her on a treasure hunt. On the way, Liko shares everything regarding Terapagos. Raifort reveals that she did read about Rakua in a book once. But before she spills the beans, the treasure they are after appears nearby. A Gimmighoul in its roaming form. Roy tries to catch it upon hearing from Fried that no one has been able to catch one in this form. However, Gimmighoul vanishes, revealing why it's so elusive. It does reappear on Fuecoco's forehead though, granting Roy another chance to catch it. Oh my god, yes. Just kidding, it's Zoroark again. Gimmighoul did leave a coin behind, which Raifort reveals is their true target, so they split up to find more. They soon stumble upon some ruins like the ones found in Scarlet and Violet, which in my experience always have at least one Gimmighoul you can get coins from. In the ruins they find a Charcadet and a Nacli, two Pokemon that have been around for a long time and have always been friendly with humans. Nacli is called cute by Liko, while Charcadet adorably claims Terapagos as its noble steed. Roy soon appears with a metric ton of loose change, which amazes everyone. They all then spot a watchtower in the distance, which brings good memories to Roy and Kilowattrel. The ruins, the watchtower, and the Pokemon they met are all historic, because they have been around since the Paldea of old. This makes Raifort profess the value of history, which she calls the story of the past that leads into the present. Everyone heads to the watchtower via different routes. Once up high, they all admire the view. Soon they spot another Gimmighoul, this one in its chest form, sitting like a total boss surrounded by coins. Roy gives it all the coins he gathered, and Gimmighoul then runs away after thanking Roy smugly for a job well done. Fried and Raifort suspected this would happen. Turns out Gimmighoul have the ability to control humans in order to have them gather coins for them, explaining how Roy got so many coins. As they admire the view once more, Raifort says that if you know history, you can visualize how things once were. They put this into practice, allowing us to get a look at what Paldea used to look like 100 years ago. Really makes you wish for Legends Scarlet and Violet. Liko takes it a step further by imagining Lucius and the Terapagos together as they are now. Raifort soon reveals what she knows about Rakua. It is referred to as the shining pink of Rakua in the book she read, confirming what Fried suspects, that Racunium is somehow connected. Liko and friends vow to learn more about the past, having acquired a newfound appreciation for history, which delights Raifort, who they thank for the lesson and the experience. Back at the academy, Clavel and Dendra reveal what the next assignment of the Terrasto course will be. The implementation test, which will have the students face gym leaders again. Though this time they must use 2 Pokémon. Liko, Dot, and Roy have their opponents revealed. They will face Grusha, Larry, and Ryme respectively. The episode ends with them deciding to head to Medali first for Dot's battle since it's closer. So obviously I, and I'm sure most people, expected to learn just a bit more about Terapagos, Rakua, and Lucius. And more importantly, we wanted to learn crucial things. But we learned basically nothing about Lucius or Rakua, and we already knew everything that was revealed about Terapagos due to the games, namely the Indigo Disc expansion. Even its 3rd form, its stellar form, which it assumes when it terastalizes, is something we already knew. They made it sound like a big revelation, but it isn't. So unfortunately, in terms of adding to the growing story, lore, and mystery of this series, this episode fails. Honestly, the only value it has narratively is that it sets up a lot of things for the future. First, Liko and friends will indeed go to Area 0 at some point, which means we will get to see Paradox Pokémon, Koraidon, Miraidon, Professor Sada, Professor Turo, and all the backstories surrounding all of them. Basically, like with every previous series, the main, most important plotline from the latest generation will make its way to the anime. Though since Horizons features Naranja Academy, maybe we will only get to see the Scarlet side of things. Which is unfortunate since this means no Paradox Pokémon from Violet, no Miraidon, and no Professor Duro. Though they could of course somehow merge both sides. Furthermore, Jita will be the one to take Liko and friends to Area 0. Of course, at this point we don't know if she will just take them to the entrance or if she will actually go in with them. But at least, just like I expected and hoped, she will reprise her role from the games. Moving on, the fact that Terapagos' 3rd form was mentioned likely means that it will transform into it at some point. Though it remains to be seen if it will do so on its own or if someone, namely Liko, will terastalize it. The latter would be fitting considering that she is currently working towards mastering Terastal and getting permission to use it outside of assignments. I could see the former happening as well though once Terapagos reunites with all the heroes. Finally, when it comes to setup, We now know who Liko and friends will face next. Grusha and Ryme were expected for Liko and Roy given their prior interactions. But I did not see Larry versus Dot coming. Considering that we already saw him in his capacity as a member of the Elite Four, hopefully he turns it down to gym leader level when he faces her. Grusha being the strongest gym leader in Paldea means that Liko is also in for a tough challenge, especially since Floragato is weak to ice. Roy versus Ryme is the most even matchup, as well as arguably the most fitting. And I hope that just like I predicted back when they met, Fuecoco will evolve during this battle. What excites me the most though is that Liko and friends will have to use 2 Pokémon, meaning that their second Pokémon will finally get some action. This is especially exciting for the 2 that have evolved. This could also present Tinkatink the perfect chance to evolve too, which adds to the excitement. At the very least, she deserves to have a big moment and learn a new move, since currently, she falls behind the other second Pokémon in terms of power, growth, and development. Dot is up first this time, so I think Roy will go second and Liko last. So the reverse of last time. This will give Liko a chance to prepare for the difficult battle that awaits her, plus it will provide more time to build up to a potential evolution of one of her Pokémon, namely Floragato, who evolved first. This also ensures that Tinkatink won't have to wait so long to join the Evolution Club. Though judging by the title of the episode where Dot will face Larry, Quaxly seems to be the one most likely to evolve soon. Finally, we have to talk about the Pokémon and character that made their debut in this episode. Raifort was great. Her love and passion for history, her wisdom, and her desire to teach the value of knowing the past all made her an interesting and fun character that I hope we get to see more of. Sadly, Charcadet and Gimmighoul were not caught even though Roy tried. Nor was any hint provided that maybe said Pokémon or the species could be caught in the future, which is unfortunate. At least Charcadet was cute and funny playing knight with its noble steed Terapagos, Nacli was adorable, and Gimmighoul was hilarious, especially the one in the chest, which smugly told Roy to hand over the loot before dipping after thanking him. It's unfortunate though that he was left coinless, since maybe he was close to the 999 he will need to evolve the Gimmighoul he will hopefully catch one day. Also, I love that the doppelganger trio from a few episodes ago appeared at the end of the episode with the other students. Nice to see they weren't forgotten. Who knows, maybe we will see them again. So yeah, overall, look, this episode could have been better. I was waiting for some big reveals that never came, and the debuting Pokémon were not caught, nor were they able to do much. Raifort is about the only part of the episode that worked and lived up to my expectations. Setting up several exciting things to come is really the only thing that saves this episode from being a complete waste. At least it was funny though, mostly courtesy of Zoroark, who even transformed into Cap, which led to a hilarious moment. Gimmighoul was also pretty funny, and I do appreciate the history lesson and the moral of know the past so you can better understand the present. Therefore, I cannot completely trash this episode, but yes, I expected more. But that's the review and the video. Please let me know what you think of this episode in the comments below, and click on the links on screen now to see my reviews of the previous 3 episodes. I will see you over there. Thank you so very much for watching.